Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for your support of Indie Agency News. And let's meet an indie freelancer. Oh, remember, we got Meet an Indie Agency, but we also are bringing in some great talent. And Jack's waving like, hello. We go down to Atlanta. Jack Cornett. I think I need to give people a little bit of the disclaimer in the background. You and I were both at the Martin Agency together. When I would be in town in Richmond, we'd hang. And I enjoyed our time there. I mean, I really did. And I enjoyed getting to know you and the rest of your creative crew. And it was really, really awesome. So thanks for making that chapter of this career enjoyable. You were a big part of that. But I want to dig into you at the moment, because you are an indie freelancer, and I want to start with this. What's a great headline to describe you? And you're allowed to have more than one. If you could come up with a headline for yourself, what would it be?
Big dude, write good.
I was waiting for something. I was legit waiting for you to say something like that, because you're what, 6'5"?
Like 6'3", but when I put my bun up and I'm on like good shoes, about 6'5", I say a word when fewer do trick.
Oh my God. That's so funny. No, and it's very true. And you really, really have a love affair with the written word. And like you said, you write good. Give us a little bit of your background and a thumbnail of the work, because again, the writing piece of it, and what I always appreciated about your style was you didn't have like a house style. You were able to really morph and move, which I thought was really nice, but you put like an essential piece of humanity into your work. And you've always done that, which I thought was really interesting. So give us a little bit more of your background and your path to where we are now.
Yeah, I wrote a lot in school. I didn't go to ad school, but I wrote like essays and took a few creative writing classes. And then I got to Martin, and my first like role was to blast a newsletter out to the whole agency. And I took like 3 or 4 hours every day just getting like 80 news hyperlinks and like copying and pasting headlines and hyperlinking them. But because I was spending so much time on it, I would also allocate a full hour just to make the intro to the newsletter kind of funny. Because it was an amazing opportunity. Like, I'm emailing 400 people, all of whom are at the agency of the year, agency of the year, agency of the year. And I knew it was a great opportunity, and I just started blasting out jokes. And I got a good response, and they kind of made me a copywriter out of it. And when I was in the transition from newsletter writer to like full-time writer, I was asking people, like, how do you write? Like, how do you write for like a brand? Like, I've never done this before. I didn't even know I could write until we got positive feedback on the newsletter. Like, the Martin agency told me I could write, and then I was like, oh shoot, that's a confidence boost. And they were basically like, how do you think? Like, how do you think you write? And I was just like, I take what's in my head and I put it onto the paper, and then I massage it with punctuation and with diction and with syntax and all of these big grammar words that we all learned in high school or college. But like the process that ended up flowing and working throughout my career has just been take things at table stakes, at just zero, get it out onto the paper. I'm pretty sure that's what table stakes means. This is not.
Well, no, you're in the ballpark. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, just like get it out onto the piece of paper, onto the Google Doc, onto the Twitter platform, the TikTok caption, and then just let it rock for a little bit and play around. And it's kind of brought me to some success doing like 15s, written a bunch of 30s. But when it comes to social, it's a whole different writing style. Like, you could write a banger 15.
Yep.
Like, have the end card, have the title card, and have like 12 seconds to really let it rip. But if you can't write a social post, that's okay, because it's a totally different writing style.
Right.
And I've kind of found my wheelhouse to be the quippy, punchy, social first kind of writing that you see on an Instagram meme or on a tweet. And I literally just got word, this is the perfect time, just got word that the Threads account for Domino's just got finalisted for the Shorty Awards.
Oh,
So
nice.
go vote, go vote, go vote, because I was the voice behind that account, and
Nice.
I'm really excited. It'll be on LinkedIn in a few hours, but
All right.
yeah, that's the
I like
gist.
it. I like it. Nice. You know, we've touched a little bit on what kind of work you like to do the most. What revs you up? I mean, it's, you know, you've touched a little bit on social, you've touched a little bit on more quote traditional vibe, but what revs you up when it comes to the work?
So I'm kind of a weird creative because I have my MBA, and
That is true. I forgot about that. Yes.
I went to get my MBA specifically for sports. I played football in college at William and Mary and had like a long relationship, love affair with football. It was amazing. So I tried to get into the sports industry, and I had an internship with the Commanders back when they had their old name.
Right.
And then I had a job offer from the Commanders, but they dropped it because of COVID. I was
Right.
about to get a job offer, I like to say, from Red Bull for a sports job, but they dropped that because of COVID. And then when I got to Martin, I realized I loved creativity enough to pivot from sports. But I got placed on the Buffalo Wild Wings, which was
Yeah.
sports and beer and creativity, like the three greatest things for like my personal self.
Right.
So when I got to B-Dubs, it was very sports heavy. And then when I left Martin, I chose to go to chemistry, the indie shop down here in ATL. And one of the biggest draws for that was they have a client who's the title sponsor of Cricket West Indies, like the sport of cricket.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was like, oh shoot, like I could learn a whole new sport and make that my job. And that really got me going. I ended up getting to go down to Barbados and
Jesus.
interview and get content with Curtly Ambrose. If anyone here knows Curtly Ambrose, that would be kind of a miracle. But if you don't know him, he's like the cricket comparison to Charles Barkley.
Oh, outspoken.
Yeah, outspoken, hilarious, kind of
Never
like
won a ring.
but like he's like a teddy bear off the court, off the
Right.
pitch.
Right.
He was really intimidating and played really hard. But he also never won a championship, which kind of sucks.
Again, I was just going to say, like Charles Barkley, no chip.
Yeah, but he's still a legend.
Yeah.
And yeah, outside of sports, anything social. I just love to
Right.
like make a brand seem like they're chronically online. The
Yeah.
the draw of that, I know it's kind of divisive, but the draw of that is like you can make a really funny TV spot, but only 10 TV spots in the world are never going to annoy somebody. Like you've got like Maxwell the Pig, wee, 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 and Hump Day, Geico. Those are legendary spots that everyone, like the NBA holiday Christmas thing with the bells and the hoops, like those are legendary spots. But almost every other spot is going to run 20, 30 times and annoy people after 3 or 4 runs. But a social post, that's one giggle, one like, move on, no annoyance. There are annoying social posts for sure. But if you can get a chuckle out of somebody just one time, send it to a group chat, get a like, get some engagement, it's more higher positive brand affinity. Like, oh shoot, Domino's is kind of funny on Threads. I might give them a follow. That's the draw for me.
I love it.
Yeah.
Whether it's an agency or a brand, what makes a good client to you? What makes them great to work with?
Trust.
Yeah.
Trust to grow. Trust to let you fail and then coach you up when it does happen. I think the transparency of what they want, and when you aren't hitting the mark to actually get what they want, being able to say, hey, this was a bad month of Evergreen. We need you to go back to the drawing board, and here are some good examples of what we need you to hit. Or, hey, we love these activation ideas, but they're all completely out of our budget or all completely the old version of our brand. We want to go in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
I've had clients in the past that will literally just say, we don't like it.
Just straight up. Yeah.
And then nothing else.
Right.
Like they won't like believe in us or trust us enough to actually be able to like elevate to their taste. And that also kind of blends with communication and being able to like decipher what the client wants versus the client actually telling you what they want.
Right.
And then you be able to make that mark. And then just like, yeah, the trust, that the communication part is huge. But I guess the comfortability to be able to like come to a creative agency and just let them be creative and bring outlandish, wild ideas that kind of push the boundary, but also know that we're going to bring you the kind of ideas that you're going to be able to produce, going to be able to be comfortable with,
Right.
Without totally pushing the brand outside of its comfort zone.
That's true. What was your biggest upset when you played at William and Mary? Did you have a game where like you played UVA and beat? Well, I mean, there were stretches where you and I could get 9 more people and we could beat UVA.
UVA beat us twice.
Okay. Did you have an upset, like a big win?
We did. The first one was against JMU. I think they.
Oh, James Madison. Yep.
Yeah, they might have won the Natty that year or the year after that. But both big upsets were actually on Halloween. The first one was JMU, and the second one was the University of Maine.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're a pretty good program, and they always wore New Balance. They had New Balance football gear, and I was like, I mean, you guys got to be good. You guys have to be good if you're going to come out here and be scrappy.
Or from New England.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But they're both Halloween games.
Yeah. It's a state law where you have to wear New Balance. Keep it New England-y. Jack, would you consider yourself a weirdo, misfit, or underdog? And why is that? And you can mush them together. You can do a combination, but don't say I'm all three. You might be all three, but you probably skew towards one.
I think I'm in the gray area between misfit and weirdo.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Misfeardo, weird spit, something along those lines.
Yeah.
I almost have not too much confidence, not in like the crossing the line into cockiness, but I'm one kind of from my sports background. I've learned to always bet on myself. And if I get into a brief where I'm uncomfortable or I'm starting at a new job in a city where I know nobody and I'm just sort of like trying to make it, like I'm always going to take it one day at a time, live in a one-day universe. And through consistency and slow grind, I don't really think that I identify as an underdog. I've always kind of been able to take that long-term goal and achieve it, or achieve it to my own standards and satisfaction. But like growing up, I was super religious, very Catholic, but I was also a sports guy. And I was kind of the only person that did football, but also would go to church every week in college. Right. And that was something that I always kind of took pride in. And then when I got to my career in advertising, no one else really, at least at Martin, came from William and Mary, especially in the creative. Like it's not a very creative business school, a creative marketing school, big consulting pipeline, big Washington, D.C. politics pipeline.
Right.
And you get people in like client jobs, but I always kind of felt like a misfit because I didn't go to ad school and because I didn't know how to do writing at all.
Well, international studies, University of Denver. The first paying gig that I got was a $35 radio script. So, and I didn't know what I was doing either. So
look at you now.
Yeah, I know. God help us. Well, Jack, seriously, like I said earlier, it really was a pleasure working with you at Martin, and absolutely love your point of view. Love the cut of this jib. And to everybody out there, we're going to put all of Jack's information in this post, but get to know him and trust me, you will not be disappointed when you get to know Jack Cornett. Thanks so much for joining us, buddy.
Thank you, Doug. Really appreciate it.